The brand new Audi A6 still comes with a ICE engine. Yes, you've heard that right. This is the diesel version of the new Audi A6, and it's a great looking car. It has a really big grille like we've seen a lot. It's a little bit different in styling than it used to be, but I still really like these. They have these one-piece headlights with a different pattern you can set up for them. In the settings there's like 7 different patterns. I really like this. The biggest difference between the EV and the ICE version is that these have one-piece headlights and not the split ones like you've seen on the EV, which honestly I think is a lot better than split headlights. It's kind of useless. We have these very funky door handles, soft close, still to remind you that you're driving an Audi A6 Avant. Some people might forget. Moving towards the back, I think, yeah, the Avant is the one to get. It's a really good looking car. It has a really good line. And then we have these, and they're so thin, they're OLEDs, and you can also set them up together with the headlights. There's 7 different styles to set up. You have the cool exhaust here to remind you that it's a diesel. It also has a very handy place where you can kick your feet and then the trunk goes open. It's a really great trunk. Quattro. Yeah, it's a really good car. But is it worth your 100,000 euros? That's what we're going to find out today. Yeah, so the Audi A6 Avant. I'm really thankful for Audi for not calling this the A7, because they were going to do that, but then they realized that people don't really seem to get a sense of it, like why they want to do it. So I'm very happy to be back in an A6, and an A6 with a internal combustion engine. Yeah, because this is the Audi A6 with the 2-liter diesel. It produces 204 horsepower, hooked up to a Quattro system. It works really well. I had really high expectations for this car, mainly because I'm a really big fan of the A6. For me, it's always been, if you want to have the cool and the luxury things visually, you'd get a Mercedes. If you want to have the proper quality with something a little more serene, you're getting the Audi option. And if you want something, I think BMW has always been somewhere in between there. But Audi for me has always been about like, no, not too much fuzz, but like quality is there. The tactility of buttons, it's all there. And that's where, for me, yeah, it falls a little bit apart, the Audi A6, to be honest. We're in this cabin, yeah, we have the big screen as well here. I don't really like the way this plastic protrudes, and it makes it look very cheaply. We also have the passenger side screen, which honestly I think, yeah, I've said it as well, I believe with the E-Class, I don't see the point of getting a passenger display, because no one is going to use it anyway. They're all going to be on their phones, and it doesn't really make sense in my mind. Here as well we have this big piano piece, and this button here for your switch gear. It doesn't feel the most premium than the park switch as well. Even drive select, it used to have like a very nice click and a very nice tactile feature. It feels less so. We do still have a button for volume, which I'm really thankful for. Thank you, Audi. But again, the steering wheel, that's where it gets me with the touch. It's really horrible, and the clicking, I mean, it could be worse, but it's not the best as well. And on the side here we have the buttons for the windows and everything, and again, it all seems a little bit, I don't like it, to be honest. I really don't. The way it drives, honestly, that's a different story, because it works really well. I think it rides very smoothly. It has air suspension as well, which is really great. It really soaks up the bumps. And actually, for an Audi, it's cool. It's quite a heavy steering. I'm normally not the biggest fan of the way an Audi steers, because they're so light, and sometimes they don't even communicate that well from time to time. But here, this one, I think is genuinely really nice to drive. It's a really comfortable car. The 4-cylinder diesel is on the noisy side. 200 horsepower is plenty enough. I think it's plenty fast enough for the car that this is. Honestly, apart from it being noisy, it's a really cool engine because it has the mild hybrid as well in it. And where a lot of mild hybrids are just like fancy starter motors, this is really cool because I don't know if you can hear it, but you can hear the electric engine charge up the battery. It's a very small battery, but what it will do is when you are braking, it'll regenerate, it'll turn off the engine, and when you're just like coasting or cruising along at a very subtle pace, like right now we're doing 50 and the engine is not on. We're doing like smooth 50. We're not accelerating, we're just cruising, and it just runs on the electric engine, which I think is a really cool feature. And I think a lot of 48 volt systems should work a lot better like this. However, where it then does fall apart for me again is the efficiency of the engine, because you would think with all that you'd have quite the efficient engine, and right now I've done just all in efficiency, just driving very gently, no fussy, just on the highway 120, no speeding, no hard pulls, and I'm averaging right now 6.3 liters, which I think is a lot for a small diesel engine, especially in a car that's so new, because as you remember from the E-Class, we were averaging, I believe it was about 5.5 liters with a big 3-liter diesel, and then with the 540D, also with a big 6-cylinder diesel, we managed to average 5.1, 5.2, which is honestly super impressive. And then you get to a smaller 4-cylinder, which should be a lot better, because I've driven a 520T, which averaged I think about 4.8 or even lower, and somehow the Audi fails miserably on that part. It's not the biggest concern because it's only like 1 to half a liter. I think it's doable, but it does seem kind of weird that Audi, who are the masters of efficiency in most cases, or like when they used to be driving Le Mans and everything, now they fall so short with only a 2-liter diesel engine. And you cannot even go for a 6-cylinder diesel engine because there's no option, which is a shame really, because I think in a car like this, it suits it really well. That said, yeah, honestly, this drives great. It's a little more thirsty, but 6.3 liters is very good. I quite like driving around with it. However, I just came from the 5 Series, and I was really great. I really liked the 5 Series, and when I got in this, these are cloth seats, which I don't mind, to be honest, and I think the cloth inside the interior all the way wrapping around is a really nice touch. A car doesn't have to be wrapped in leather for me to be luxurious. It has to have premium plastics and like a premium feel to it. But the problem with me for these seats is they sit very hard, and somehow with the air suspension, because of these seats, it feels harder to drive than the 540D was, even though the 540D was non-air suspension. As well with this 48 volt, I'm sorry, I'm going off topic here, but it just brakes for a T-junction. So it recharges the battery, engine start off, just move along. It feels a bit like a hybrid Le Mans hypercar where it starts on the electric engine and then the ICE kicks in. It's really cool. But as I've said, I think the seat itself, the cloth, I don't mind, because it's also quite nice for your back. It's very breathable and everything. However, it doesn't sit very comfortably. Like my butt starts to get sore after an hour of driving, and especially with a big diesel or a smaller diesel like this one, you're really aiming to go the long distance and to drive for long times. So that's why I think it falls a little bit short, but still it's a really great car, but it's not as polished as Audis used to be, or that's my feeling at least, especially as well with the infotainment system. It's so needlessly complicated. There's the car here, and the car only works, it's only the displays, the lights that don't even turn on when you're driving during the daytime, which I feel like is a shame. I don't know why. I asked the car, turn on the lights, and I turned them on for a brief second, and then I turned them back off again. Servicing, and then a lot of all other different things. But everything feels a little bit over the place, because you then have driver assists here, you have settings as here, and it all jumps around a little bit everywhere. I don't really see the point in doing it this way. It's the same with BMW. They're doing it needlessly complicated, and they could have done it a lot better. As well with the front display, I do feel like from time to time when I'm just too close on the buttons, it starts to swipe the screens away, and there's also adaptive cruise assist, which apparently uses mobile data, so now it's restricted because it cannot use any mobile data. It feels a bit weird. And then there's also the systems in the driver assist, like it keeps constantly blinking at you, even though you've turned them on. Like it's there reminding you that you've turned them on, which is really, really annoying.
Exiting average speed zone.
So I feel the car is constantly nagging at you, and I don't really like that. And then there's also the thing we need to talk about, which is the price, because this starts at 76,000 euros, which is quite a lot. And with the options that are on here, it's 100,000 euros. And then I start to get lost in what this car actually brings, because I don't feel it's that much of a premium interior. Yes, I don't get it, and I'm really sad, because I'm a big fan of the A6 from the C7 and the C8 generation, and I feel this is falling a little bit short. It's a great car, don't get me wrong, but I've been driving the E-Class and the 5 Series now for quite a while. I've been living with the A6 for quite a while, and where the A6 was always like, for me, if you're not too much into the sporty driving, you should go for an A6, because it's the best car and it's the most comfortable car. I'm sad to say it isn't anymore, and it's also so expensive, even though it's a 2-liter. I personally, I'll save my recommendation on what tree to buy, because I think it's a really cool video to do. But this is kind of where, Audi has lost me, and it's a shame, because I don't know what they're trying to do with this. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. What do you think about the Audi A6? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Let us know in the comments. We'll chat there. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.